Iowa State has won 17 of its last 18. Nebraska will try to snap a 2-game losing skid. Let's check the starting lineups, brought to you by United States Cellular, the way people talk around here. And for Nebraska, the big presence is up front with Ffriend, but Cary gets a start in the backcourt, the all-time scoring leader in Iowa State high school history. He comes from Tri-Center Neola High School. He's from tiny Minden, Iowa, over in the western part of the state. And for Iowa State, the guards, Tinsley, Horton, and Nurse. Horton, the leading three-point shooter percentage-wise in the Big 12. It's Johnson and Fizer up front. Larry Eustachy, with that win over Missouri, now has 20 victories for the 5th time in his career in 10 seasons as a head coach. And there you see his record at Iowa State. And Danny Nee, with one more victory, would become the winningest coach in the University of Nebraska history, passing Joe Cipriano. Well, Nebraska loves to crash the boards, and Stephon Bradford will come off the bench tonight to lead the charge. He's the best offensive rebounder in the Big 12. The opening tip is next.
You say I talk a lot of trash. I don't talk a lot of trash.
This bum go over 5 rounds. I won't return to the United States for 30 days.
Ali talk trash.
For all these big mouth people here in Miami talking about I talk too much and this one's gonna whoop me, well, I want all of them to be there.
He invented trash.
Yeah, I wish him a happy new year because he's gonna need happiness after I annihilate him.
But he can back it up too.
I must be the greatest.
You gotta call 1-800-CLASSIC to get ESPN Classic.
He was part of the animal group.
To study the mind of a convicted killer.
Are you a murderer? Oh, yeah.
A psychiatrist.
If you don't talk to me, I can't help you.
Is prepared to risk everything. Academy Award winner Anthony Hopkins.
Never had control. You only thought you had it.
Academy Award winner Cuba Gooding Jr.
He's leading me into the jungle.
He's leading you?
Instinct.
What are you up to? Therapy?
Now on pay-per-view, rated R.
ESPN presents college basketball's greatest games. We're going to go back in time to show you some classic comebacks, amazing performances, and last-second heroics.
To the floor, Leitner catches, comes down, dribbles, shoots!
College basketball's greatest games.
Playing this month on ESPN Extra.
Introducing ESPN Extra, the brand new cable channel for sports fans who can't get enough. On ESPN Extra, you get more of the sports you love, like international soccer from around the world, including the UEFA Champions League. You'll see international auto racing, fitness, and outdoor programming. Plus, there's EXPN, which offers exciting extreme sports programming. It's all on pay-per-view around the clock all week long and only on cable. Watch ESPN Now or your program guide to see what's on. Then order exactly like you would for a pay-per-view movie. ESPN Extra, you can't do better than that.
Nebraska has the big edge in the series against Iowa State, even here at Hilton Coliseum, but Iowa State won in Lincoln last month. And a great crowd at Hilton Coliseum tonight, Cary, and that might avoid a letdown for the Cyclone team. It's kind of that sandwich game between Missouri and Kansas. Maybe the crowd can make the difference tonight.
Well, you'd certainly hope so for Iowa State fans, because this is a big basketball game. With Texas and Oklahoma State winning road games today, it becomes even more important that you protect that home court advantage.
Kimani Ffriend controlled the tip, and he has it down low against Fizer on the first possession. Lewis Truscott with it. He got the start tonight, kind of a surprise. He starts instead of Bradford. Larry Florence, the only senior out there, he's number 5. And this is Cochran out of Minden. We talked about him a moment ago. Iowa State man-to-man. Ffriend in on Fizer. Missed it. Rebound Stevie Johnson. Outlet to Tinsley. Iowa State on its first possession. Tinsley on a spinning jumper. Stevie Johnson kept it alive for Fizer. Marcus back up and in.
Well, John, you can credit that one to Stevie Johnson. He was flying in there, kept the ball alive, and Fizer was able to finish it off. Shooting the basketball great, 62%, and he gets his first one down.
Ffriend inside. Had it stripped away by Stevie Johnson again. Cyclones on the run. Tinsley to the trailer Nurse. Jump shot on the way. Missing. Tipped by Stevie, wouldn't go, and Florence controls for Nebraska. Cornhuskers have been struggling on the road this season. They've yet to win a game on an enemy court.
You know, Michael Nurse, for some reason or other, I think partly because he's had the flu, he's had some tonsil problems, he's been playing a lot of minutes, but he just has not been shooting the ball as well lately in conference play.
Tough matchup for Iowa State there. He was on Florence. Florence missed the shot, and Johnson gets another rebound for the Cyclones.
Stevie Johnson really coming out playing aggressive.
Fizer, long jump shot. Rims in, it's a 2. He had a foot on the line.
I don't think he was really sure that he wanted to take that shot. He looked at it, he backed it off, and then he finally took it. Normally you don't hit that ball, but he got a friendly bounce.
Fizer hitting 62% from the floor this year. He's among the national leaders. He's off to a 2-for-2 start so far tonight.
Big matchup down inside with Fizer on Ffriend. He is so quick down there, he could get Fizer in foul trouble. So they're trying to front him, and they'll give him help behind. And the big guy down inside.
Shot clock at 7 as Florence spins in. Horton the rebound for Iowa State. Tinsley would love to push it up the floor. Nebraska does not do a great job of getting back. Tinsley into transition, and it's out of bounds. It'll belong to Nebraska. Fizer's shot a moment ago. Gary showing the range he's been working on.
That's right. Look at here. He looks, it turns it down, and then comes back, hits the front, gets a nice little roll. 2 buckets for Fizer.
Paul Shirley checks in there, and with Kimani Ffriend on the floor, we expect Shirley to play a lot this basketball game. It's a 4-0 Iowa State lead in the early going. Nebraska's 0 of 3 from the floor. Nurse knocked it away, but Truscott comes up with it. This is Walker on the drive. Fadeaway jumper, in and out. Truscott kept it alive for Florence. His fadeaway is off the glass and in.
And that's where the Huskers have been tough. That's one area they've been strong in. That's rebounding.
Yeah, they're leading the conference in conference games in rebound margin. Horton gets past Florence, goes in strong and draws a foul, and he's hurt on the play.
Oh.
It's his left foot, Gary, and he's had problems with his feet throughout the season. His heels.
He is so tough. He plays through it. Watch here. I really like the way he takes it up, double pumps it right here with his body, uses that big body of his, about 220 pounds, but he comes down. You said he's had a lot of problems with his heels.
Well, he will just tighten up the shoe a little bit more and stay in there. Let's take a look at what happened the first game over in Lincoln last month. Iowa State held on to win that one, and Marcus Fizer was sensational. 26 points, 11 rebounds. Hit 2 big free throws late in the game. Iowa State was able to hold on and win it. Horton will stay in there and shoot the free throws. Boy, Horton is one of many Cyclones on a real streak at the free throw line. Now he's at 19 of his last 20. Iowa State is a team, the leading free throw shooting team in the Big 12 in conference games.
Horton number 5 in the Big 12 conference, shooting just a little over 78%. Helps the average there as he hits 2.
Iowa State was kind of in the middle of the pack in free throw shooting in non-conference games, but since the conference has started, they've been knocking them down. The miss by Truscott. Florence had it for a moment, but Horton comes up with it. Kantrail Horton leads the charge. Iowa State has the numbers. Horton to the hoop. Shirley tipped it up and in.
Oh, another tremendous tip by Shirley.
We saw him do that against Missouri. And Paul Shirley gets Iowa State out to an 8-2 lead.
Good job by Fizer. They're cutting off Truscott.
Florence trying to save. It's out of bounds to Iowa State.
I couldn't tell whether Florence tried to call the timeout, but evidently he was edged out of bounds before he get the time call.
There's Danny Nee, who is looking for the 3rd time for that victory to become Nebraska's winningest coach. He's tied with Joe Cipriano right now. 253 victories at Nebraska.
I say, what a character, Joe Cipriano. One of the real lovable guys.
Horton for 3. Fizer the rebound. Loose on the floor. Here comes Cochran. Good job by Nurse defensively. Tinsley knocked it away momentarily. Walker comes up with it. Nebraska has been prone to turning the ball over.
Tinsley almost had him. He's 3rd in the conference in steals. You can see why. Quick hands, long arms.
This is Truscott on a jumper. Tinsley the rebound. Nebraska is 1 of 7 from the floor.
Shirley, a great job of blocking off.
Horton for 3. Bullseye.
Well, you like to see that. A guy shooting 49% from the 3-point stripe. In fact, he shoots better from there than he does from inside. About 44% overall inside. This guy could shoot at long range, too.
Cochran missed it. The rebound to Horton again. Nebraska 1 of 8 from the floor. Nurse in transition. Got it!
Nurse needs that one. He needs that one to get his confidence back, and this crowd is up, and Danny Nee, a good timeout from his part.
Timeout Nebraska. Iowa State is charging to an early lead in this one. The tip in by Paul Shirley, helping the Cyclones to a 14-2 lead.
Passion, intensity, artistry. Act now and watch Major League Soccer matches you can't see anywhere else. MLS ESPN Shootout, a season's worth of excitement. Don't miss a beat of the heart-pounding, heart-breaking action. Call now to order.
Hey, my name is Rick, but everyone calls me The Rick. Yeah, so I'm on ESPN.com. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering what .com stands for. Well, Dot is short for Dorothy, the Bambino's second daughter. And Com, short for Comiskey Park, where Dorothy sat in seat 7H, and the Bambino hit a two-run homer in the third inning to win the first All-Star game back in '33. Hence .com.
It's College Hoops Blues. From ESPN's archives, you'll see basketball footage that'll make you flip, action that'll spin your head around and make you lose control. You'll see highlights that'll definitely get your attention and knock you clear out of bounds. So pull up your favorite seat, prepare to be knocked out.
College Hoops Blues, playing this month on ESPN Extra.
Iowa State comes charging out of the gate, a 14-2 lead, and Cary, they're knocking them down from long range.
Well, they really have, and they've done this a number of times this year when they're get them in bunches. Tinsley pushing the ball down, wide open. Kantrail, Horton, and he'll nail it for his 38th tray of the season, shooting 49%.
There you see the numbers on the three-point shooting. Nebraska 0 of 2, Iowa State 2 of 3. And the Cyclones have gotten both their threes in transition. So the last thing Nebraska wanted to do was come in here and dig itself a 14-2 hole. And that's just what's happened in front of a big crowd at Hilton Coliseum.
The other three by Nurse is only shooting 32% on trays in conference play. And as I said, a good confidence builder for him.
Good defense by Tinsley. Sorry, Cary. Good defense by Jamaal Tinsley. Forces the turnover. Iowa State will have it for first, a timeout on the floor. Iowa State with good defense, holding Nebraska to just one field goal so far. And they've forced some turnovers. Cyclones lead it 14-2.
The man in the box must accept responsibility for his action. Was it foolish or necessary? When he skates back to the bench, will his teammates tap him on the pads, or will they look in the opposite direction? Because in that one instant, the man in the box made a decision for all of them, and he must deal with the consequences. The NHL on ESPN. This is the game.
Introducing ESPN Extra, the brand new cable channel for sports fans who can't get enough. On ESPN Extra, you get more of the sports you love, like international soccer from around the world, including the UEFA Champions League. You'll see international auto racing, fitness, and outdoor programming. Plus, there's EXPN, which offers exciting extreme sports programming. It's all on pay-per-view around the clock, all week long, and only on cable. Watch ESPN Now or your program guide to see what's on. Then order exactly like you would for a pay-per-view movie. ESPN Extra, you can't do better than that.
Do you want to know when the games begin? Tune to ESPN Now, available only on cable, for a complete guide to all sports on television. You get continuously updated schedule information so you know exactly what's on when. Plus, get live sports headlines from ESPN.com and the Go Network. If you want to know what the latest sports news is and where the games are, the place to be is ESPN Now. ESPN Now. It's where sports fans go first for sports. To get ESPN Now, call your cable company.
Iowa State has jumped all over Nebraska tonight. It's 14-2 Cyclones, just over 5 minutes into the game. Just a reminder, later in the game, we'll be choosing the Pioneer Hybrid Player of the Game. We hope you'll stay with us for that. Well, Nebraska's last game out at Colorado, they fell behind 17-3 at the start of that one. So it's Danny Nee thinking, I've seen this somewhere before so far tonight. There's the rebounding numbers. Iowa State has doubled up on Nebraska.
Cyclones, one of the trademarks of Eustachy teams is rebounding. They're number 8 in the country in rebound margin.
Boy, good job by Tinsley just to make the catch there. They love to post him up down low, and he's very effective once he catches the ball.
That's a good move when you can post him up because he is so quick. He's going to make something positive happen. He's going to get the shot. If he makes it or not, that's one thing, or he's got a great chance of going to the foul line.
Truscott picks up his first foul. Tinsley to the line. And Iowa State continues to shoot free throws well.
Really liked it the other night. Tinsley down in Missouri in a clutch time. They intentionally fouled him. Really should have been an intentional foul because it was way away from the ball. But he stepped up there when his game time, just knocked the front end of that 1-and-1 down, hit both of them, came back and hit the front end of another 1-and-1.
Iowa State now 4 of 4 at the free throw line so far tonight. And Iowa State leads it 16-2. Tinsley really pressuring Cochran as he gets it across the line. Number 11 is Rodney Fields. Sat out last year after transferring to junior college because of an injury. Shirley gets a steal.
Boy, the defense, Iowa State's just been aggressive as heck.
Tinsley crosses over, leaves it for Nurse.
Looking high-low, can't get Fizer down.
This is Fizer against Ffriend. You might see this matchup in the NBA someday. Kick out to Nurse. Three-point shot off the mark. Shirley kept it alive, but Cochran saves for Nebraska.
You know, again, Fizer showing that maturity. Doubled up, not fighting the double team, kicking it out to an open teammate.
Bradford inside, he's a load. Ffriend to the offensive boards, and he's fouled. That is one thing Kimani Ffriend will do. He will get to the free throw line a lot.
And then when he gets there, John, he struggles a little bit, shooting just a little over 52%. Watch this matchup, tries to take him. Sees the double team coming in, pitches out, you get a wide open shot. Kimani Ffriend doing a good job of keeping Fizer out. That's a load.
Ffriend to the free throw line. He started out very poorly at the line this year. He's been working on it, and he's improved dramatically in that area, but he's still just a 50% free throw shooter.
And I'm sure that's something the Cyclones have in their game plan. If a game should be closed down late, you got to look at sending that guy to the foul line.
You can see the funny spelling on the name. It's F-F-R-I-E-N-D. Just like it sounds, for Ffriend. Except it's pronounced Ffriend.
It's just like everyone's to say Cochran. If you hear us say Cary Cohort, you'll know that's the correct pronunciation.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it at all, but looks like Cochran, pronounced Cohort. Tinsley on the kick out to Horton.
And Fizer high, and you got Bradford really pressuring up on Fizer.
Tinsley, 17-footer. Rebound to Rodney Fields. Tinsley trying to pick his pocket. And now he almost does, and he does. He knocked it away to Nurse. Iowa State on the run. Nurse on the crossover dribble. All the way into traffic. And he's tied up. It's a jump ball. Alternate possession to the Cyclones.
Watch Fields coming down, and you'll see Tinsley, we said third in the league in steals, knocks this away. Nurse comes up with it. He's going to take it all the way. He's eyeing that defender. Little change of pace dribble, comes up. Double pump will come back live.
Kantrail Horton just did a layup. Horton now with 7 points. And Iowa State leads it 18-3. This is Fields. Blocked from behind by Tinsley, but a foul call. And if that's Jamaal, it's his second foul. And it is. 2 personal fouls on Jamaal Tinsley. So the first real area of concern in this game for Larry Eustachy.
Eustachy kind of throws out his hands.
Rodney Fields with 2 shots for Nebraska.
And we'll see Fields go to the line. There's the numbers on the season. Nebraska with just 1 field goal so far in this game in the first 7 minutes.
Fields only a 63% shooter, and that's one area they've had a big problem at Nebraska this year too, and probably because of Ffriend. He's taken 175 free throws. They're only shooting 62%.
That'll knock your percentage down, won't it? Because he's not a great free throw shooter. They're last in the Big 12 Conference in free throw shooting. But Fields hit them both, and it's an 18-5 game, and Tinsley is checked out, and Brandon Hawkins is in for Iowa State. So Tinsley with the 2 fouls will sit down for a while. Hawkins brings energy to the floor for the Cyclones. Gets it off to Fizer. Tough jumper. Got it.
Boy, did he read that defense. He had that alley going, a little fake to the inside, and then took it to the left right there. And he's shooting the ball well, John. Just everything's floating up there nice and soft.
Fizer 3 of 3 in this game. Jumper on the way by Bradford. Shirley the rebound. Fizer running the floor. Let's see if Horton can get it to him. No, but the trailer is Hawkins. He'll pull up for the jumper. Walker had it momentarily. Ffriend took it away from him.
Well, Shirley again, textbook blocking out on Kimani Ffriend.
Nebraska has dug a 20-5 hole here. Ffriend in on Shirley. Went by him and walked with it. Kimani Ffriend in just his 3rd year of organized basketball and still learning the game, but Danny Nee says he loves his enthusiasm. He said he has a real passion for the game. He'll come before practice, he'll stay after practice, work on his free throw shooting. Danny Nee really loves Kimani Ffriend as a basketball player.
Well, keeps improving all the time. A Big 12 Rookie of the Week 3 times already.
Shirley tried to collect that pass from Horton, but it's taken away. Here comes Larry Florence. Off to Ffriend for the layup.
And Ffriend thought he should have had a foul, and then I'm not so sure he shouldn't have. He really, with a lot of strength, took that ball to the basket and got it down.
It's the 2nd field goal for the Cornhuskers. Now they throw it away nearly, but Fizer tracks it down. Marcus against Ffriend. Knocked away again. Florence took it away from Horton. Larry Florence all the way in.
You can't be careless with that basketball because Nebraska has some athletes. They're quick. You see Florence right there, a senior. Stripping to the ball, taking it down easy too.
Nebraska scored the last 4 points. Nurse spins his way in. Double clutch shot off the mark. Bradford the rebound. Iowa State starting to settle for bad shots, Cary.
That's right. I mean, to keep looking back into Fizer on the inside. Nebraska would have run right now.
Fields on the layup, and the Huskers are within 9. Larry Eustachy says, give me a timeout. So Larry Eustachy will call his troops over to talk things over. Enter the Budweiser Championship Ticket Giveaway, and 2 all-session tickets to the Big 12 Conference Basketball Tournament in Kansas City could be yours. It's easy. Just print your name, address, zip code, and age on a postcard and send it to the address on your screen. The winner will be selected by a random drawing of all entries received before midnight, March 2nd, 2000. You must be 21 years of age or older to enter. For a copy of the official rules, send a self-addressed stamped envelope to the same address. Brought to you by Budweiser, Brewery Fresh, Taste Guaranteed, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. Well, a good start for Iowa State, but over the last couple of minutes, the Cyclones have not taken good shots, and Nebraska has converted at the other end.
When Iowa State gets down there without in the transition and can't get the quick shot or the wide open shot there, that's the time, I think, to work it around. Make sure that Marcus Fizer gets to touch that ball. Here's a guy averaging 21 points, leading the conference and shooting a great percentage. Just been red hot, so you want to get him all the touches you can.
Shirley wanted the ball against Ffriend. Got it. Out to Hawkins. It's a good battle to watch down there between these two. Shirley on the hook. Tipped it up again. Still wouldn't go. And now a battle for the rebound, and Ffriend comes flying out of there with it. And I believe they called a jump ball. Alternate possession to Nebraska.
John, I really think the one official had a foul, and they come in and the other one had a jump. He said, what do you got? And he backed off the foul on Shirley, and he went with the other official's jump ball.
Timeout on the floor. Marcus Fizer is 3 of 3 from the floor in the early going. Cyclones lead it by 9.
We want to give back to the community, and that's why a lot of us are involved in the Big Buddy program. Chance to give children something they would otherwise never see, to meet their heroes.
When I pass it to you, just give it right back. All right, now give it back. Oh, shooting! Pass the ball! Pass the ball! Easy, man. Big fun. Like defense! Get on him! Get on him! Get it out!
Being a Big Buddy allows us to give back, and, you know, that feels pretty good.
Get out! Walk it off! Your parents signed the permission slip. Get up, man.
Ever wonder what Dick Vitale does in the off-season?
Hey, I'm still daydreaming about basketball.
ESPN presents Dick Vitale's Dream Time, baby. Join Dick for his all-time favorite teams, players, plays, and finishes. Plus, a behind-the-scenes look at the dream moments in his college basketball career.
I've come a long way, baby. Talk about lucky.
Dick Vitale's Dream Time, baby. This month on ESPN Extra.
The games will come to an end this weekend, but that doesn't mean you have to leave the worldwide leader in sports at home. Because the news, interviews, and analysis from your favorite ESPN personalities continues all day, every day on over 600 radio stations nationwide. Check your local listings to find the ESPN radio station near you. ESPN Radio. Take it with you.
Nebraska's cut this lead down to 9 points. Iowa State leading to 20-11. And watch Fizer in a one-on-one situation right here. Comes back. And the pick, they double up, go to help. They can bring it back to him one-on-one. Now you can see the wide open alley right there. Kimani Ffriend cannot get back in time to cut him off. And Fizer nails it for 2.
Here's another Budweiser quick stat, the turnovers, and that's pretty consistent with the way it's been all season. Nebraska's turned it over a lot. Iowa State has been pretty careful with the ball. And right now, Iowa State trying to stop a Nebraska run of 8-2.
Sometimes, John, you jump out to a quick start like that, and it gets easy, and then you have a little letdown, and Nebraska's not going to quit, that's for sure.
Well, and this Nebraska run has corresponded with Tinsley going to the bench for those 2 fouls. There's a steal by Hawkins, but he was called for stepping out of bounds. And Nebraska will keep it with 11 on the shot clock.
Brandon Hawkins, a young freshman averaging 14 minutes a game.
Well, now they've reset it. I'm not sure that Iowa State ever had control of the ball in bounds. And that's the argument. They're going to put 11 seconds back up on the shot clock. It's showing 35. They reset it. But Larry Eustachy protested, and it will be reset at 11 now. Unfortunately, the way that they're resetting it is by ticking it down from 35 to 11. This is the year 2000, isn't it?
I'm surprised at that.
Well, we're going to have to wait for it to get down there. Nebraska and Iowa State here at Hilton Coliseum in Ames. John Walters, Gary Thompson with you. The Cyclones got out to a 20-5 lead, and right now they lead it 20-11. This is Danny Walker with it. Tough shot off the glass and in, and Nebraska continues to charge back into this thing. Larry Eustachy called this a dangerous game, Gary. He understood that Nebraska had the talent to beat Iowa State if Iowa State did not play well.
Well, they've won 5 out of their last 9 here at Hilton Coliseum, so they've come over and had success before.
Shirley inside.
So, the great improvement of Paul Shirley is his strength and being able to finish off shots this year, which he's had trouble in the first couple of years.
And Ffriend has the answer at the other end, off the feed from Fields. Don't want him to get heated up. He had 20 in the second half against Missouri.
Nebraska getting too easy of a baskets right now, and they're getting down quick, and that's what you got to keep Nebraska from doing is transition.
Shirley again. Had it blocked from behind. And Walker clears. Nebraska trailing by just 7. This is Larry Florence. Looked like he might have gotten away with a walk there. Ffriend having trouble against Shirley, got rid of it. Iowa State just missing a little something defensive intensity-wise, but Tinsley off the floor.
Shirley doing a good job of Ffriend, and there he gets a hand on it, trying to front him and get help from behind.
Michael Nurse, see if he's okay. He went right over Andy Fales. The photographers down there from WOI TV. Andy took the charge.
I bet Andy'd be happy to know that he gets credit for his charge.
It's the only stat he's going to rack up in this game. Of course, everybody at the station probably concerned about whether or not the camera's okay.
Yeah. The heck with Andy.
That's right. Shot clock at 5. This is Walker in on Tinsley, and Jamaal back in. They're lucky not to get a 3rd foul right there. Here comes Fizer to Tinsley. Out to Nurse, right back in to Stevie Johnson. His spin move. Almost taken away. They reset things. Good decision by Tinsley.
Right. And a good decision on his part on the other end where they took him on the penetration. They backed off, stayed away from his 3rd foul.
Fizer went right by Kimani Ffriend and drew a foul. And Kimani Ffriend is one of the quicker big men in the Big 12 Conference, and Fizer blew right past him.
He's just getting every facet of the game. He's been able to take it out here front. Did it against Missouri. Gets by him, takes it off, and what happens when you go up there to get the dunker high, taking it high to the rack, you almost always get that foul.
Well, good news for the Cyclones. Kimani Ffriend has 2 fouls. And that has to be a concern for Danny Need. They'll get Truscott back in there at the next opportunity. Boy, Fizer, another of those Cyclones on a real free throw shooting streak. Knocks it down here. Marcus has hit 26 of his last 27 now. There's a look at the rebounding dominance that Nebraska has had. 6 games this year with over 50 rebounds. It's pretty even tonight because Iowa State a good rebounding team too. Fizer on the season now up to 72% free throw shooting.
But it's just at the free throw line is where you really win basketball games. You keep a lead or you keep another team from getting momentum, because if you miss, they come down and score and they get their heads up.
Yep. Well, he missed the second. Fizer has 7 points to lead Iowa State along with Horton. This is Truscott in on Stevie Johnson.
Truscott got by with a walk that time.
Matt Davison has the ball. He's a walk-on from the football team. Fizer and Bradford really battling down low. And I mean battling. Long jumper, Walker. Rebound, Truscott. And it's going to be called a goaltend on Fizer. So give Truscott the basket.
John, there's a battle down inside. I mean, it to be all men to play.
Well, Kimani Ffriend has been anything but friendly to Iowa State so far. Nebraska's back within 6.
Have you even seen the Harlem Globetrotters play?
I remember one time I went to D.C. and they had this exhibit on the Globetrotters at the Smithsonian.
I'm saying, when was you even in D.C.? Yo, the Globetrotters are some serious ball players. Ball players today, they gotta be knowledgeable of their old school style.
You've got to call 1-800-CLASSIC to get ESPN Classic.
Introducing ESPN Extra, the brand new cable channel for sports fans who can't get enough. On ESPN Extra, you get more of the sports you love, like international soccer from around the world, including the UEFA Champions League. You'll see international auto racing, fitness, and outdoor programming. Plus, there's EXPN, which offers exciting extreme sports programming. It's all on pay-per-view around the clock all week long and only on cable. Watch ESPN Now or your program guide to see what's on. Then order exactly like you would for a pay-per-view movie. ESPN Extra, you can't do better than that.
Passion, intensity, artistry. Act now and watch Major League Soccer matches you can't see anywhere else. MLS ESPN Shootout, a season's worth of excitement. Don't miss a beat of the heart-pounding, heart-breaking action. Call now to order.
Well, Cyclones at one time had a 13-point lead. Now it's down to 6. They're going to show you it takes a real man to play inside in the Big 12 Conference. You see Bradford, listen to this noise. Fizer, down they go, over each other. Watch come on now, a little swim move by Bradford. Watch him going for the boards. You have to be strong to play inside.
And they called that a goaltend on Fizer. There's the points in the paint, brought to you by Diamond Vogel Paints. Diamond Vogel Paint serving Cyclone country with over 80 locations. Tinsley, a little floating one-hander, wouldn't fall, and the rebound to Truscott. Fields chases down the outlet pass. And Nebraska can climb within 4 here. Danny Walker swings it around to Fields. Matt Davison, talked about him, wide receiver on the football team, their best wide receiver. Walker into traffic, in and out. Nurse kept it alive for Fizer.
Good hustle, guards getting inside, going to the boards.
Fizer backing in. Now Nurse, a long 3. Brandon Hawkins, the rebound.
Beautiful job by Hawkins, the freshman, going up high and then taking it up off the glass.
Brandon Hawkins averaging about 14 minutes a game, and said earlier he brings energy to the floor for Iowa State. That's the kind of play that can get you going. But Fields has the answer at the other end.
Fields only 3 for 17 from the three-point strike coming into this game.
And he's only averaging 4 points on the season, but he has 7 so far tonight. Watch Tinsley go to work here. Tinsley to the baseline. Couldn't get the shot to go. The tip wouldn't go for Tinsley, and he comes down hard. And here comes Nebraska the other way. Walker on a 3. and Nebraska has climbed back within 2 points.
Now there's a guy, Walker, who'll put him up. He's put him up 116 times from behind that three-point strike. Cyclones defensively, you mentioned earlier, John, really kind of had a little letdown. It's the same fire.
And their offense hasn't been clicking either since the early moments of the game. They are down to 35% from the floor. This is Hawkins, good catch. Brandon needs to get rid of it.
I couldn't find the open man, Nurse.
And then he threw it away.
Good pressure by Nebraska.
Larry Eustachy not too thrilled with the intensity of his team at this point. Nurse and Tinsley combined 1 of 12 from the floor so far in this game. And Nebraska can tie or take the lead on this possession.
The Cyclones really need a good defensive stand here. Keep momentum switching. It's been switching Nebraska, but they'll really feel if they tie this game up.
Truscott on a long jump shot, and he hit it. It's a 3, and Nebraska has the lead. They've overcome a 15-point deficit, and they lead it by 1.
You never can tell. There's Truscott, 2 for 19 from the three-point strike coming in this game, and he knocks one down. So
he and Fields defying the law of averages. Here's Tinsley on a drive. Denied by Truscott. Hawkins comes up with it, though.
We told you Nebraska has some athletes. They can run, jump, and quickness.
And they've come to play here tonight. And now Davison fouls out on the perimeter. Matt Davison gets the foul.
Davison, you mentioned looking at him here. Wide receiver was the kid that made 2 years ago that diving catch in the end zone down at Missouri.
And then he came back with the best game of his basketball career against Missouri last week. He had a couple of three-pointers, had 6 points in that one. But he's got some basketball talent. He was Mr. Basketball in the state of Nebraska, so it's not a shock that he's on this team. And it's not a shock that he's getting minutes either.
Nebraska did a good job here keeping Fizer from getting the basketball. That may be one reason why.
Florence got into it with Fizer, or Bradford rather got into it with Fizer, and Bradford was called for the foul. You could see him battle.
Yeah. Bradford 6'6", 240, out of Compton Junior College in California. This time he gets whistled for the foul.
Horton tracks that ball down, and Iowa State trying to get something going here offensively, trailing by 1.
Just haven't had any real good shots. Nebraska's picked up the tempo, came defensively, came out a little soft, but they've been much more aggressive.
Horton down low to Fizer, and he'll go to the line. What a play by Marcus Fizer. He's 4 of 4 from the floor, and Iowa State will go for a 3-point play.
The beauty of this Iowa State team this year, they've got several guys that can pass the ball. Kantrail Horton is a point guard himself. He plays the 2, he can play the point, comes across, nice pass there, and Fizer against his body, going against the grain, gets it up off the glass. Fizer with 9, going for double figures right here.
There you see the numbers for Fizer, and he is into double figures with 10 points. Bradford got that foul, it's his 2nd, so Bradford and Ffriend with 2 fouls apiece for Nebraska. They're 2 inside forces.
Nebraska didn't get anything that time, but boy, they had the ball down quick, down the sideline, get into that offensive end where they could go one-on-one.
Cochran brings it back out. Down low, too low, it's Bradford. Can't let him catch it there.
I'll tell you, Bradford is a horse in there. He is strong. And Fizer, I think, smart right there to turn him loose. He had it. Probably just going to pick up the foul.
So Bradford with his first 2 points, comes in averaging 12. Here's Stevie Johnson backing in. Good kick out to Hawkins. Hawkins couldn't get the jump shot. And who hit it last? Iowa State did. It'll be Nebraska's ball. Well, the Cornhuskers not a particularly good 3-point shooting team. Just 33% on the season, but they've hit a couple in this one. And the game is tied at 28.
Get into the zone. The ESPN Zone, the ultimate sports dining and entertainment experience. Eat great food, watch any game that you want, and compete in our sports arena. ESPN Zone. What more do you need? In Baltimore, visit The Zone at 601 East Pratt Street. In Chicago, on the corner of Ohio and Wabash. And in New York's Times Square on the corner of 42nd and Broadway. And coming soon, ESPN Zones in Atlanta and Washington, D.C.
There's a long list of unwritten rules. The players know these rules better than the printed ones, because these rules are part of the game's history. To disrespect them is to disrespect the game. It is the unwritten rules which carry the most weight, for if you break one of them, it isn't the referee who hands out the punishment. The NHL on ESPN, this is the game.
3:34 to go first half. Nebraska and Iowa State tied at 28. Here's a Carquest playing for keeps replay. Gary?
You'll see Brandon Hawkins, a freshman, comes in here. The ball comes long. He's a good looper. Takes it one dribble to gather himself and then puts it up off the glass.
And that's the Carquest playing for keeps replay. See your nearest Carquest store. Kimani Ffriend in there with those 2 fouls.
Nebraska moved out, started the ball game, hit only one of their first 10 shots. Since then, they've hit 10 of 13. That's just a nice, tidy little 77% shooting. That'll get you back in a hurry.
Iowa State, Fizer's 4-4. Everyone else is 6 of 25. So Fizer has been about the only consistent weapon for the Cyclones.
Which means that probably he ought to get the ball a little bit more.
That would make sense to me. And I think Fizer picked up the foul right there. It is on Marcus. Got in a position where he couldn't avoid the foul, which is something he's done a pretty good job of, Gary. He has not fouled out of a game all season.
I think Iowa State has only had 3 people foul out this year. When they've had foul trouble, they've been able to play through it in crucial games. That's been crucial to their success.
Well, we saw Horton and Tinsley each get their 4th foul with about 6 minutes to go in the Nebraska game, and they both were able to play out the rest of the string. That foul on Fizer, by the way, was his first of the night. Stephon Bradford hit both free throws, and Nebraska back in front by 2. Larry Eustachy tried to warn his team, you have to be ready to play against these guys.
And it looked like they came out so strong, but and we're ready.
Hawkins on a turnaround. Got it.
You know what I like about him? He shot an air ball, maybe 2 air balls, but he's not afraid as a freshman to come back, put it on the floor, and take the shot.
Tied at 30. Martin Rancic is leading the cheers from behind the Iowa State bench. Larry Florence out to Walker for 3. Rebound Horton.
Well, the Huskers proved they can miss.
Fizer running the floor. Wow, what a catch and layup by Fizer.
That's what happens, young people, when you run with your head and not turned down floor where you can see Kantrail Horton leads him a beautiful pass. If he's just got his head turned, there's no way that play could be made.
That was a tremendous catch. Florence. And a walk or a foul? It's a foul against Nebraska. Let's take a look.
Well, the action is picked up here. Here's Brandon Hawkins, a little spin dribble up with that high arching shot. He gets it up over the defensive man for 2 points. Here's Kantrail Horton. Watch, he's watching the defensive man there, puts it up. Great catch, as you mentioned, John, by Fizer. Easy 2. And that's what happens when the big guy runs the floor well. You're going to get a couple of those.
To the free throw line, Brandon Hawkins. The foul was on Stephon Bradford, his 3rd. So he will find a comfortable seat on the bench because he's done for the rest of the first half. Hawkins' free throw is good. Brandon Hawkins with 5 points. He and Shirley have given Iowa State some bench production so far tonight.
Iowa State just mainly a 7-player team, but the guys off the bench have been productive and give a lot of good minutes.
6 now for Hawkins. His career high was 12 against Colorado. Crowd on its feet at Hilton Coliseum. Iowa State up by 4, trying to close the first half with a run, just like they started the first half. It's a 6-0 run right now for the Cyclones.
Nebraska doing a lot of picking.
Florence on the jump shot over Hawkins.
He is tough. He's an athlete. That's his game. Penetrate. He's a slasher, or he can hit it off the dribble. Hit the jump shot off the dribble. Makes it tough to cover.
Well, Larry Florence looks like he's about 24 years old. That's because he is. Been around for a while, 5th-year senior and a 4-year starter for Nebraska.
Took over the leadership when Cookie Belcher, their outstanding guard, is out for the season with an injury. Co-captain, there you look at him, Larry Florence.
Got the foul right there. Let's take a look at some other scores from around the country on the ESPN. USA Today, top 25 scoreboard. And there you see out of the Big 12, Texas A&M knocks off Colorado. Notre Dame a winner over Connecticut. That was
second time, isn't it?
Yes, second time this year. Horton hits the free throw. Texas knocked off Missouri in Columbia today. And what a good one there in the SEC. Tennessee and Florida in overtime. And still pretty early between Duke and Georgia Tech. Kantrail, Horton hit both free throws. 9 now for Horton, and Iowa State up by 4.
Need some offense out of somebody else because Nurse and Tinsley were only 1 for 13. That one being a three-pointer by Nurse early in the game.
Florence, the rebound battle, and a foul called on Iowa State. And it's Marcus Fizer. Correction, they got it on Shirley. Let's take another look, Cary.
There's Florence on the penetration, goes up, some off, comes there, and Shirley. Oh. Didn't see a whole lot there. Just looked like everybody's arms up there scrambling for the ball.
Florence is going to work on Brandon Hawkins. Has a height advantage.
Height and got some weight and strength.
Well, that three-guard offense for Iowa State creates some matchup problems for other teams, but it also creates some matchup problems for Iowa State. There was an example. Horton backing in, had it knocked away. And that'll reset the shot clock. The ball was kicked.
Had that play set up all the way, looking for Marcus Fizer. The same play as they ran earlier to the other side of the court. Danny Nees taking his teams to postseason tournaments 9 years in a row, 11 of the 13 that he's been there.
Hawkins now gets to his comfort zone, kicks it out to Horton for 3. Long rebound to Cochran, and Nebraska chance to tie or take the lead.
Kantrail didn't hit that shot, but I like to see him ready to catch that ball and take it up.
Steal by Hawkins. Iowa State on the run. Hawkins to the hoop.
Nice job by the freshman.
8 now for Brandon Hawkins. Iowa State back up by 4.
The important part of this is Tinsley's been able to sit now, and Iowa State still here with a 4-point lead.
Grant powers his way in. Fizer snares the rebound.
See if Iowa State goes for 1.
12 points, 5 rebounds for Fizer. Lost control of it. Shirley came up with it. And a jump ball is the call. A jump ball is called. Alternate possession Iowa State. And now the Cyclones can hold it for 1. And that's what Larry Eustachy is saying. 1 shot. Cyclones lead it by 4. They led by as many as 15 early. Shirley had it taken away by Florence. And then he turned it over, double dribble. And I'm not sure that Iowa State wanted to do that, Gary.
No, that's an exchange, I think, both ways. Nebraska gives it right back. I think right here, 4-point lead. The best you can do right there is if you don't even get a shot, come out 4. Look here. Excuse me. He's going to give it to an Iowa Stater in the lane.
Well, 13,000 plus saw that and weren't about to let it get away.
Important thing here is run the clock down. You're going to make sure Nebraska doesn't come back with a chance to score. You don't want to shoot it too early.
See the game clock on the roll.
It's going to be a
corner of your screen. Horton backs up. 3 seconds. Nurse, three-pointer, missing. And that'll bring us to halftime. Michael Nurse has missed his last 6 shot attempts. And we come to the half. Iowa State led up by 15 early, but at the break, it's just a 4-point game.
Hey, my name is Rick, but everyone calls me The Rick. Yeah, so I'm on ESPN.com. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering what .com stands for. Well, dot is short for Dorothy, the Bambino's second daughter. And com, short for Comiskey Park, where Dorothy sat in seat 7H, and the Bambino hit a 2-run homer in the 3rd inning to win the first All-Star game back in '33. Hence .com.
The games will come to an end this weekend, but that doesn't mean you have to leave the worldwide leader in sports at home. Because the news, interviews, and analysis from your favorite ESPN personalities continues all day, every day, on over 600 radio stations nationwide. Check your local listings to find the ESPN radio station near you. ESPN Radio. Take it with you.
Do you want to know when the games begin? Tune to ESPN Now, available only on cable, for a complete guide to all sports on television. You get continuously updated schedule information so you know exactly what's on when. Plus, get live sports headlines from ESPN.com and the Go Network. If you want to know what the latest sports news is and where the games are, the place to be is ESPN Now. ESPN Now, it's where sports fans go first for sports. To get ESPN Now, call your cable company.
Rick, but everyone calls me the Rick. Yeah, so I'm on ESPN.com. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering what .com stands for. Well, Dot is short for Dorothy, the Bambino's second daughter. And Com, short for Comiskey Park, where Dorothy sat in seat 7H, and the Bambino hit a two-run homer in the third inning to win the first All-Star game back in '33. Hence .com.
I love John McEnroe. He's the best tennis player ever. I mean, I hated him, but I loved him. I mean, some people just hated him. I mean, Wimbledon hated him. The English hated him. The ball boys, they hated him. The other players hated him. Jimmy Connors, Bjorn Borg, he drove him nuts. See, he had control of you. He would have control of your mind. He'd win and win and win, and you'd hate him and hate him and hate him. You could say what you want to say about John McEnroe, but he was a genius.
You've got to call 1-800-CLASSIC to get ESPN Classic.
At halftime, Iowa State leads it over Nebraska 38-34. Hi, everybody. John Walters along with Gary Thompson. And Gary, an 18-3 lead for the Cyclones in their opening minutes. Look like they're ready to play, but then to Nebraska's credit, they played hard the rest of the half and got back in this thing.
Well, you know, we commented, you and I, off camera when we were gone to commercial, about Nebraska really came out soft and had that 14-2 lead. But then they really came back strong. They started attacking the glass on offense and really playing good interior defense. Fizer's 5 for 5, but that means only got 5 shots. They made it tough to get it inside.
Yeah, and everybody else 8 for 29, so maybe Marcus has to come out and catch the ball out high and create off the dribble.
Well, when you shoot 38%, you know, Iowa State used to now shooting around 49, 50-some% for the game. Shoot 38% here to still have a 4-point lead.
So Iowa State leads it at the break, 38-34. We'll be right back after these messages with more of our halftime activities. The Cyclones by 4.
If I had one of those TV rating boxes on my television, the #1 show in the country would be 11 p.m. Sports Center. I never miss it. In my opinion, it's the best thing going. Okay, maybe it won't hit #1, but it'll definitely give Dom and Greg a run for their money.
A very underrated defense. Daryl Gardner forces an incompletion, knocks Drew Bledsoe to the ground.
Face it, America. Situation comedy, it's a dead genre.
He was part of the animal group.
To study the mind of a convicted killer.
Are you a murderer? Oh, yeah.
A psychiatrist.
If you don't talk to me, I can't help you.
Is prepared to risk everything. Academy Award winner Anthony Hopkins.
Never had control. You only thought you had it.
Academy Award winner Cuba Gooding Jr.
He's leading me into the jungle.
He's leading you? Instinct.
What are you up to? Therapy?
Now on pay-per-view, rated R.
Introducing ESPN Extra, the brand new cable channel for sports fans who can't get enough. On ESPN Extra, you get more of the sports you love, like international soccer from around the world, including the UEFA Champions League. You'll see international auto racing, fitness, and outdoor programming. Plus, there's EXPN, which offers exciting extreme sports programming. It's all on pay-per-view around the clock all week long and only on cable. Watch ESPN Now or your program guide to see what's on. Then order exactly like you would for a pay-per-view movie. ESPN Extra, you can't do better than that.
Basic human instinct tells us that we should avoid fast-moving projectiles at all costs. But for a select few, this is not the rule. They are the most primitive athlete in all of sports. They are a different breed. For they are the ones who, against all impulse and desire, volunteer to place themselves in front of the target. The NHL on ESPN. This is the game.
There was no way that we could win this game. We didn't have a shot. I mean, it was some American kids that were like 22 years old. They're fighting against these big Russian guys, and there was no chance. And then...
You've got to call 1-800-CLASSIC to get ESPN Classic.
Well, it's appropriate that we have a gymnastics demonstration going on at halftime because our halftime guest is Iowa State women's gymnastics coach Amy Pyle. And Amy, your team having a great season. You just came off a school record scoring against Iowa. That had to be a tremendous accomplishment.
Yeah, it was an incredible meet. Not only did we break the record, we smashed it by a point, which that's just unheard of. Usually at this point, you know, a quarter of a tenth, a half a point maybe, but they just, from top to bottom, they were incredible.
You've had some individuals do very well. Talk a little bit about some of them.
Betsy Hom, who's a transfer from the University of Florida, she won the NCAA balance beam her freshman year, finished fourth in the all-around. She, 2 meets ago, broke the individual all-around record and once again had another great all-around performance. She's just solid from top to bottom. She's a very tough competitor mentally.
Well, now, you also have some terrific depth on this team, which I'm sure has to be a significant thing in terms of people pushing each other to get better and better.
Absolutely. Depth is just a great thing. Competition, everybody has to work harder to get a spot. Kelly Moore is a really strong senior for us. She's won the balance beam Big 12 championship for 2 years now. Sarah Sanderson just came off her best all-around performance ever. And the great thing about it is we don't even have Sissy Huey back in our lineup, and she was our star freshman last year, finished 20th in the all-around. She has an injury, and we're hoping she'll be back on bars at Nebraska and then slowly get her back in the all-around. So when we're really healthy, we're pretty much unbeatable.
Well, the fans here in Ames have a lot to look forward to because you have the Big 12 championships right here at Hilton Coliseum.
Yes, it'll be a great Cyclone weekend. That'll be March 18th at 8 o'clock. And right now we're ranked 8th in the country. Nebraska is ranked 7th in the country, and Oklahoma's right around 20th. So it'll be a real nail-biter. It'll come down to the last event, probably the last competitor. It'll be a lot of fun.
Well, it's nice to have it right here at home. I'm sure that it's going to be a boost to your team.
Absolutely. They love competing at Hilton Coliseum, and hopefully the basketball team, the women's team, will have the NCAA tournament here this weekend, so it'll be a lot of fun for the Cyclone fans.
Tremendous weekend. Amy, thanks very much for joining us at halftime.
Thank you.
Amy Pyle, Iowa State women's gymnastics coach. And tonight we have 2 Dual 2 Magnum Academic All-Stars. The first is Allison Sullivan, a member of the Iowa State women's soccer team, and major at Iowa State is Production Operations Management, and Allison currently holds a 3.66 grade point average. And our second tonight is Aaron Runk, a member of the Iowa State baseball team. His major at Iowa State is Finance, and Aaron currently holds a 3.75 grade point average. Congratulations to Allison Sullivan and Aaron Runk, our academic all-stars from Dual 2 Magnum Novartis Crop Protection. We're at halftime. Iowa State leads it just by 4 after leading by 15 early on.
The games will come to an end this weekend, but that doesn't mean you have to leave the worldwide leader in sports at home. Because the news, interviews, and analysis from your favorite ESPN personalities continues all day, every day on over 600 radio stations nationwide. Check your local listings to find the ESPN radio station near you. ESPN Radio. Take it with you.
While hockey at times seems chaotic, it is the superstar who is able to bring about order. The one who dominates finds a way to make time go faster for his opponent, while at the same moment extending his own time to create opportunity. The NHL on ESPN. This is the game.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dick Vitale. You're probably wondering, what am I doing in one of these babies? A Rolls Royce. I'll tell you why. I'm getting ready to pick my all-Rolls Royce team. I mean, we're talking the best of the best. I'm going to talk about the Waltons, the Jamars. We're going to talk about the Magics and the Jordans. You name them. Get a TO. Get a timeout. Get a TO, baby. Get a timeout. Get a TO, baby. It's going to be unbelievable, baby.
Playing this month on ESPN Extra.
Passion, intensity, artistry. Act now and watch Major League Soccer matches you can't see anywhere else. MLS ESPN Shootout, a season's worth of excitement. Don't miss a beat of the heart-pounding, heart-breaking action. Call now to order.
Introducing ESPN Extra, the brand new cable channel for sports fans who can't get enough. On ESPN Extra, you get more of the sports you love, like international soccer from around the world, including the UEFA Champions League. You'll see international auto racing, fitness, and outdoor programming. Plus, there's EXPN, which offers exciting extreme sports programming. It's all on pay-per-view around the clock all week long and only on cable. Watch ESPN Now or your program guide to see what's on. Then order exactly like you would for a pay-per-view movie. ESPN Extra, you can't do better than that.
Iowa State Basketball is brought to you by Pioneer Hybrid, the company bringing you technology that yields. Wellmark, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Iowa. You just can't beat the Blues. Murphy Family Farms, producing quality pork and protecting the environment where we work and live. Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who reminds you fresh beer tastes better. Dodge, do not follow, do not conform, be different. And by United States Cellular, the way people talk around here. Iowa State leads it over Nebraska at halftime, 38-34. Gary, let's take a look at the first half highlights.
Well, Marcus Fizer led both teams in scoring with 12 points in the first half. He's going to get a nice entry pass here from Iowa State's Kantrail. Horton takes it up, going against the grain, gets it down for 2 of those 12. Brandon Hawkins, the freshman, takes it on the dribble, spin dribble, goes up and then elevates the shot. High arching shot, gets it down for 2 of his 8, which is a real plus for Iowa State. Fields only an 18% three-point shooter coming in, nails one here in the first half, and he is bumped. And an athlete, the senior on his team, Larry Florence, great off the dribble, penetrate, pulls up for the shot, knocks it down. 8 points for Florence in the first half.
Here's a look at the first half statistics brought to you by Bud Light, and Nebraska shooting it better than Iowa State. Didn't start out that way.
Well, that's the difference in the ballgame. Things pretty well equal right there. Rebounding, Nebraska by 1.
And as you mentioned, everything else is
Iowa
close. Iowa State's got
an edge on the free throws.
Yep.
So, which is always part of their game. They make more free throws than the other team attempts, and that's the case right there in the first half.
Iowa State's got some bench scoring. Hawkins with 8, Shirley with 4. At the break, Cyclones lead it by 4.
Get into the zone. The ESPN Zone, the ultimate sports dining and entertainment experience. Eat great food, watch any game that you want, and compete in our sports arena. ESPN Zone. What more do you need? In Baltimore, visit the Zone at 601 East Pratt Street. In Chicago, on the corner of Ohio and Wabash. And in New York's Times Square on the corner of 42nd and Broadway. And coming soon, ESPN Zones in Atlanta and Washington, D.C.
He was part of the animal group.
To study the mind of a convicted killer.
Are you a murderer? Oh, yeah.
A psychiatrist.
If you don't talk to me, I can't help you.
Is prepared to risk everything. Academy Award winner Anthony Hopkins.
Never had control. You only thought you had it.
Academy Award winner Cuba Gooding Jr.
He's leading me into the jungle.
He's leading you? Instinct.
What are you up to? Therapy?
Now on pay-per-view, rated R.
Do you want to know when the games begin? Tune to ESPN Now, available only on cable, for a complete guide to all sports on television. You get continuously updated schedule information so you know exactly what's on when. Plus, get live sports headlines from ESPN.com and the Go Network. If you want to know what the latest sports news is and where the games are, the place to be is ESPN Now. ESPN Now. It's where sports fans go first for sports. To get ESPN Now, call your cable company.
About ready for the start of the second half here. Iowa State leads at 38-34. We talked a little bit about Nebraska's strength up front and a so-so performance in the first half from the 3 big guys, but Bradford has 3 fouls and Ffriend has 2, so that's an area of concern for Danny Nee.
I was really impressed with the strength of Bradford down inside. It made it tough for Marcus Fizer. There you see Fred Hoiberg in the audience. That's a surprise. I know he's been injured and things haven't looked good. I was talking with Tim Floyd, and he didn't know when he was going to get back. It'd be nice to see Fred after the game, see what his status is.
Isn't that the darndest luck? Because last year, Fred, you know, they had to make up injuries to keep him on the injured list, to make room for him on the roster at Indiana. Then he goes to the Bulls and has a great opportunity. He legitimately gets hurt. It's too bad. Down low is Ffriend. In on Fizer for the layup. Kimani Ffriend with 7, and Nebraska within 2.
Well, I think that's smart by Danny Nee, just attacking down inside against Fizer, down low, trying to pick up a foul, and Fizer smart to turn him loose right there again early in the game instead of picking up a quick foul.
Horton a good pump fake. Couldn't get the shot to fall. Truscott the rebound, and Nebraska a chance to tie or take the lead. And walking with it was Florence. Oklahoma State won today at Oklahoma. A big win, so now Iowa State just trying to keep pace at the top of the Big 12 conference standings.
Fizer with that bad foot trying to walk it off, and notice he limped all the way back. See if he limps when he gets the ball here. Most players don't.
Out to Tinsley. Jamaal with a great look to Johnson. But they're going to call
offensive foul.
An offensive foul. Boy, what a pretty pass it was. But good defense by Nebraska, stand in there and take the charge. And that's the 3rd foul on Tinsley, Gary.
Let's just penetrate. This one heck of a pass. Wraps it around there, but doesn't control his body and lets his body go forward and picks up the offensive foul. That's his 3rd, she said.
Ffriend down low against Fizer, backing in. Jump shot is missed. Horton the rebound. Tinsley will stay in with those 3 fouls. Here he comes on the dribble. Good look to Stevie Johnson.
You know, Ffriend hasn't blocked a shot yet, but yet he's influenced a lot of possessions by Iowa State inside, where they normally would take a shot. They've had to kick it back out.
Good job by Fizer right there. He felt the contact from Truscott. Didn't back off, Gary. He went right back in at him and drew the foul line.
Well, that's always important, picking up those fouls early. You get in the 1-on-1 early in the second half. Nice pass.
Tinsley loves to post up, and he drew a foul. Iowa State.
2 quick ones on Nebraska.
Danny Walker gets the foul.
You know, John, I watched practice yesterday, and Larry Eustachy, they were working on out-of-bounds plays, trying to come up. He said, you know, if we can get a couple 3 quick baskets or cheap baskets off the out-of-bounds, that can win the basketball game. Here they pick up 2 fouls.
Fizer for 3. Yes, sir. Marcus with 15. He hasn't missed a shot all night.
Fizer now 6 for 14 from the 3-point strike.
Danny Walker. Down low, Ffriend. And a blocking foul called on Fizer. His 2nd.
You're probably going to see Shirley before long, because they are going right after Fizer.
Another look.
It is a battle down there. Look at that. Holy smokes. I saw about 3 fouls before that one.
Well, now Fizer and Ffriend are into it as they try to get position before the ball's inbounded, and Ron Zetcher comes over to get him to break it up.
Well, one thing you can't do now is lose your composure. You know, as players, you get a lot of contact going. You have to play through it. If that's the way the officials are going to allow it to go, you've got to go right with the flow.
Fizer has to be careful they don't call one of those double fouls. Cochran missed the 3, and the rebound to Larry Florence.
Well, they are tough on the boards, and we said good jumpers.
10 now for Larry Florence to lead Nebraska, and the Huskers are within 3. Johnson waits for a cutter.
Iowa State running off a 1-4 offense that time.
Good pump fake by Horton. Kick out to Nurse. He was 1 of 7 in the first half, but he's deadly to start the second.
Well, I wonder if you get an assist on that one.
And Iowa State all of a sudden up by 6.
Well, how many times does it happen that Kantrail Horton comes up with a big 3?
Or a big steal. Iowa State on the run. Nurse to the trailer. Horton denied by Florence, but Nurse comes up with it.
Well, they do block some shots. Very athletic.
Now Horton 1-on-1 against Florence. Fizer's had the hot hand.
Yeah, this is the time when you get into half court, you make your run on the break, you can't get it, bring it back, look for Fizer.
Tinsley trying to create something, and he's tied up. Jump ball the call, alternate possession to the Cyclones.
Now, John, that's where I think a lot of times Tinsley tries to do too much. He didn't have to put that ball in between them. He could have kicked it out to the wing. Instead, he's trying to put it in, make them commit. Let's watch it down here. Comes Nurse, good pass back, goes up. But look at that leap. Horton tries to take it away with a semi-hooking layup right there, and Florence with a big block.
Well, Horton went in strong that time against Florence, and Horton goes to the free throw line to shoot 2. 2 fouls on Florence now. And Kantrail Horton back to the line where he's hit 4 of 4 so far today. Horton now 22 of his last 23 from the line.
If you're Iowa State fans, you like to see him on the line. It's usually 2.
He's into double figures now with 10 points. Iowa State's starting to pull away again a little bit, Gary, up by 7. Missed the second, the rebound to Ffriend. Kimani Ffriend had 21 rebounds in 1 game against Oral Roberts, a Big 12 conference record. This is Florence to Walker, wide open 3 left side, yes sir.
Good ball movement by Nebraska. No way, boom, boom, get the open guy.
Fizer beats everybody down the court, and Marcus Fizer still hasn't missed a shot.
Soft touch, and again, pulling up to avoid that charge.
Fizer 7 of 7, 17 points. Florence walked with it. Iowa State's basketball.
Good defense by both parties involved there. Fizer and then Stevie Johnson taking away the passing lane to Ffriend.
Gary has sense that Iowa State has picked it up a little bit here in the second half.
I think probably Coach Eustachy had a few words with him about letting down after that 14-2 lead.
He's been known to do that. Tinsley, how did he get that ball back? Nurse comes up with it and shoots a 3.
Wow. Nurse in the right place at the right time here.
Second 3 of the second half for Nurse. Iowa State by 9, offensive foul, Rodney Fields. Tinsley took the charge. Good defensive work by Jamaal Tinsley, and Iowa State all of a sudden up by 9. Another look at it.
Yep. Just puts his shoulder right into Tinsley, and boy, that's a big call because if it goes the other way, it's 4 on Tinsley.
Tinsley palming the ball, goes right baseline, and he'll go for a 3-point play. The foul was on Ffriend. That's his 3rd, and Tinsley will go to the line.
Tinsley, he has no fear. I don't think he realizes what another foul does with it. If he picks up the 4th, he takes it right there. Iowa State on an 11-3 run over the last minute and 50 seconds.
Tinsley's free throw is good. Jamaal Tinsley now with 5.
The guards were out of sync in the first half offensively. Now it's been guards right now. Horton, Tinsley, and Nurse.
Rodney Fields, who has not done much offensively all season, has had a good night tonight, 9 points. But the lead is 10 for Iowa State. This is Stevie Johnson, a bounce pass to Horton, denied by Bradford. Terrific block. Tinsley steals it right back. The trailer was Nurse. Tinsley instead decides to dance on the dribble. Thought he might hit Nurse for a pull-up 3.
You see a lot of smiles in the crowd. I look over there, their reaction to him.
Nurse has it. Cyclones a 10-point lead in the ball.
Fizer acting like he wants to get the ball out high.
Horton for 3. And the rebound to Ffriend. Nobody was going to get that rebound away from him. Bradford running the floor. Couldn't control it. Out of bounds. And he walked with it first anyway. Iowa State's ball. Iowa State leads it by 10, and Marcus Fizer has led the way. 17 points. He's 7 of 7 from the floor.
It's College Hoops Bloops. From ESPN's archives, you'll see basketball footage that'll make you flip, action that'll spin your head around and make you lose control. You'll see highlights that'll definitely get your attention and knock you clear out of bounds. So pull up your favorite seat, prepare to be knocked out.
College Hoops Bloops, playing this month on ESPN Extra.
People think I live a pampered life, but I work hard to keep up my business. For example, no matter how late I was out the night before or how much I want to hit that snooze button, I always manage to wake up first thing in the morning and catch that 11 a.m. Sports Center.
Powering up, he got it. 3 homers in 3 games for Fernando Tatis to start the season.
It's not easy, but it's all about commitment.
I know this guy that used to play professional football. In 1983,
He tore all the tendons in his pinky. They told him he could get an operation and miss a few games. Or he could chop it off and keep playing. He told them to chop it off. Ronnie Lott is old school.
You've got to call 1-800-CLASSIC to get ESPN Classic.
Well, the Cyclones have moved out to a 10-point lead now with 15-12 left to play. You look at the 1-4 offense by Iowa State. They set this last time down a couple sets ago. Clear out the backside. They move the ball. They screen for Nurse here. They're looking to go down low to Fizer. He's not there. Get the penetration. Deflected pass. And, oh, it's nice to find one like that once in a while. And Nurse nails the three-point shot.
There's a Budweiser quick stat for you. And look at this. Nebraska has turned it over 16 times. Iowa State just 6. So when you get 10 more possessions, that's probably why you're leading by 10. Fizer drew a foul, and Kimani Ffriend just picked up his 4th personal foul, and Fizer took it right at him. And now Ffriend with 4.
Well, I'm sure that's by design for that bench. We said after the 1-4, they were trying to get it down low, too, and pick up Ffriend, a tremendous shot blocker. We said he hasn't been blocking shots, but he's influenced a lot. So now you got 4 fouls on him. It takes away some of his aggressiveness.
Fizer, understanding that, took it right at him. He goes to the line here. 17 points so far for Marcus.
Josh, I think what even would bear that out, that they were really trying to pump it into Fizer, was that Kantrail Horton actually was wide open as they reversed the ball right there for the shot, but passed it up to get it inside.
Fizer was about a 60% free throw shooter when he arrived at Iowa State.
That'll be a free one.
Doesn't matter, he made it. Now he's up to over 72% this season. 19 points for Fizer. Iowa State by a dozen. And Ffriend stays out there with 4 personal fouls. A steal by Iowa State. They have the numbers. Nurse to the hoop. Drew a foul. And it's on. Who was it? Florence? No, it was Fields.
That's aggressive play. And again, Iowa State, their defense got them out to that 14-2 lead early in the game. Now it's their defense in the second half. It's really gone to work. See the play, the steal by Johnson, and now aggressive here by Nurse. Taking it in, you see he cut that angle off. Instead of staying out there wide, he cut into the middle to really draw the body contact. Good move by Nurse.
Michael Nurse now into double figures with 10 points. Joining Horton and Fizer. Nurse comes in averaging 12 a game. Missed the second free throw. It's tipped up and in finally by Fizer.
Suppose they'll give him a miss on that tip. That'll be his first one, right?
Yes, now 8 of 9 from the floor in the game, but Fizer leading the way for Iowa State with 21.
Well, that was a great job by Fizer staying with it.
Cyclones suddenly lead it by 15 again to match their biggest lead of the game. Horton knocked it away. Well, they've really picked it up on the defensive end, Gary.
Well, they really have. That's been part of it. And also the guards now have entered into the scoring a little bit from the outside, so that spreads things out.
Cochran having trouble getting it in. Now Fields gets rid of it to Davison. Nebraska with 3 guards out there right now to try to match Iowa State's 3. Tinsley knocked the ball away. Up with it is Nurse. Iowa State a chance to run. Loose is Stevie Johnson, but Ffriend came down to collect it. A sloppy fast break for the Cyclones. Right now, though, it's a 15-point Iowa State advantage. They led by just 4 at halftime. Cochran, not where he usually shoots it.
No, they run a little curl for him that time.
Watch Tinsley. Look at Jamaal Tinsley.
Well, that's his patented shot right there. Taking a little one-hand runner off the glass. We talked about top of the show. Big bucket down in Missouri.
J.D. Nee wants timeout. Biggest lead of the night for Iowa State, 17 points. Enter the Budweiser Championship ticket giveaway. 2 all-session tickets to the Big 12 Conference Basketball Tournament in Kansas City could be yours. It's easy. Print your name, address, zip code, and age on a postcard and send it to the address on your screen. The winner will be selected by a random drawing of all entries received before midnight, March 2nd, 2000. Must be 21 years of age or older to enter. For a copy of the official rules, send a self-addressed stamped envelope to the same address. Brought to you by Budweiser, brewery fresh taste guaranteed. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. Jamaal Tinsley in the open court, pretty deadly, Gary.
Yeah, watch him right here now. He'll jump right over the top, one-handed. I think that's probably his best shot with the one hand.
No doubt about it. Tinsley, a little wink. You know, you talk about a guy who brings flair to the basketball court. He is the most fun player to watch we've had here in Hilton Coliseum in quite some time.
Well, in the Big 12, he's second in assists, averaging 6.4. Third in steals, averaging 2.4. He's eighth in blocks, if you can imagine that for his size.
And now he gets another steal. Iowa State has a trailer. It's Stevie Johnson. Good look to Nurse. And he drew a foul. What a good fast break that was.
And the key right there was Stevie Johnson giving it off and avoiding the offensive foul.
Another look.
There's Tinsley right here, a little underhand flip to the middle. Stevie Johnson right there, pulls up, you see, right there to stay away from the offensive foul. That was Cochran trying to draw it, which was a nice play on his part to get out of trouble, trying to make a defensive play and draw the offensive charge.
All right, Nurse to the free throw line for Iowa State. I must have miscalculated one of the Nebraska fouls. They have Ffriend with 3 up on the board right now instead of 4. Larry Florence back in there for the Cornhuskers. Nurse hit the first free throw. Michael Nurse now with 11. Matching his average. You're right, Gary. Iowa State's guards have gotten into the scoring today, and that really makes a difference for this team. Fields, wide open jump shot. Long, rebound, Tinsley. Jamaal Tinsley grabs another rebound. Good look to Fizer!
Oh, man! That had about 5 inches to get through.
Threading the needle is Jamaal Tinsley. Fizer now with 23. And Iowa State leads it by 21.
Tinsley showing you why I feel probably the best point guard in this conference right now. He just does a lot of great things. Oh, that's travel.
Walker on a drive. Missed it. Fizer was not to be denied on that rebound.
He went up strong. There it is again.
Stevie Johnson.
I'm telling you, cannot turn your head when you go down court, particularly when you're playing against this guy, Tinsley. And that crowd is up and going crazy.
And Danny Nee with another timeout. Stevie Johnson with his first basket of the game. Let's go back and look at that pass by Tinsley. And again, Gary, Fizer running the floor like he does so well.
Iowa State going flying at the shooter. Tinsley averaging over 6 rebounds a game in conference play. Watch this. Just found a little opening right there. The Fizer gets it down.
Something Iowa State just could not do last year. Fizer runs the floor. They have guards now that can get it to him. And look at these numbers tonight. 23 points, 8 rebounds, and he's 9 of 10 from the floor.
The other thing, John, when he's been double teamed, he kicks it out, which shows you if you're playing with a team attitude and kicking it out, you're going to be there for yourself anyhow. And he's been doing all the right things. When they double team him, he kicks it out, they bring it back to him. Beautiful pass, layup. Iowa State killing Nebraska right now in the transition game. That guy's pumped up about it too.
Well, a reminder that later in the game we'll be choosing the Pioneer Hybrid Player of the Game. Hope you stay with us for that. Cochran brings it up, and Nebraska trying to solve Iowa State. It was a 4-point game at the half. It's a 23-point game now. Florence, jump shot on the way over Horton. Fizer tipped it, and Ffriend knocks it away, but Horton comes up with it.
How many times does Horton come up with loose balls? He's just a hustler.
Look at that pass by Tinsley. Count it. It's goaltending on Ffriend. Count the basket for Stevie Johnson. And Iowa State is pulling away in this one.
Yeah, the fast break, getting the ball out quick down the floor, just blowing the game open.
Crowd on its feet at Hilton Coliseum. Yes, Hilton Magic is back. Florence. Out to Cochran.
I don't think Cochran scored tonight. They get up on him tough.
Knocked away by Stevie Johnson. Horton came up with it, and he was fouled by Ffriend, and that will be Kimani Ffriend's 4th foul. Kantrail Horton will shoot free throws for Iowa State.
Well, the intensity that Iowa State has gotten to the floor here in the second half has just been tremendous, particularly on the defensive end, both ends really.
Kantrail Horton has been such an important part of what Iowa State has done this season. Ffriend leaves with his 4th foul. But Gary, when you start looking at the differences between this year's teams and last year's team, yes, Tinsley's the most obvious difference, but don't overlook Horton.
No, I'd always say he's the glue to this team because he can do so many things. He can cover 3 guys because of his, even though he's a small guy, he's got the strength.
Stevie Johnson.
Right back up. But he can play the point guard. He passes the ball well, shoots it, almost gets another one.
3 straight baskets for Stevie. Now Fizer a rebound. Iowa State on the run. Fizer.
Smart play. Hold it up. Take a look at it. Didn't get anything. Bring it back out.
Iowa State has really handled the ball well. Just 7 turnovers. Nebraska has 20. This is Horton. Horton all the way in. Offensive foul. Bradford took the charge. Timeout on the floor. Marcus Fizer has been absolutely terrific. 23 points, 9 rebounds. He's shooting for his 21st career double-double. Cyclones lead it big.
Scars are a history of a life, of a game, of a place. A scar is a reminder of where you've been and where you're going. Scars are maps of battles past, evidence of sacrifice, badges of selflessness. Scars may fade or be smoothed out, but the story behind them is permanent. The NHL on ESPN, this is the game.
Introducing ESPN Extra, the brand new cable channel for sports fans who can't get enough. On ESPN Extra, you get more of the sports you love, like international soccer from around the world, including the UEFA Champions League. You'll see international auto racing, fitness, and outdoor programming. Plus, there's EXPN, which offers exciting extreme sports programming. It's all on pay-per-view around the clock all week long and only on cable. Watch ESPN Now or your program guide to see what's on. Then order exactly like you would for a pay-per-view movie. ESPN Extra, you can't do better than that.
Hockey is a game of control played on an uncontrollable surface. It can be ugly and beautiful in the same moment. Players are drenched in sweat as they play on a sheet of ice. The speed of the game is astonishing, and yet it can come to a sudden halt. It is a game of respect in a sport that is too often disrespected. The NHL on ESPN, this is the game.
Back at Hilton Coliseum in Ames, Nebraska and 21st rated Iowa State. John Walters, Gary Thompson with you. The Cyclones, after leading by just 4 at the half, now lead it by 27. Not even 9 minutes into the second half, Gary, this has been some kind of a run.
Yeah, this has been unbelievable. You thought, we talked about, it looks like this game's going to go down the wire tonight, but Iowa State a 17-0 run. See right there in the last 3 minutes and 34 seconds, and just blowing the game wide open.
Cyclones have hit their last 6 shots from the floor. This is Bradford against Fizer. Shot it long, drew a foul on Marcus. That'll be his second, or his third rather. But at this point, it's probably irrelevant. Call Shirley to check in for the Cyclones.
I thought it really looked like Fizer was going to pull his hand away. Let's watch when he goes up here now. Bradford comes up, goes into him, knocks him back, he goes up. He actually draws his hand away, and Fizer with a surprised look about how can you call that foul on me.
Bradford hits the free throw. Well, Bradford kind of created the contact, that's for sure.
You know, I don't care which team it is. I hate to see that coming back in the game. We're starting to let guys bump in, jump into you again. We went through that, then we got away from it. Now we're starting to let kids do that again. And I think it takes all the defensive play away from you when you can just knock into a guy.
Fizer will get a rest. We'll see if he comes back in or not. But Fizer, 23 points, 9 rebounds so far in this one. Tinsley dancing, weaving, one-hander, good. Tinsley with 9. Cyclones lead it by 27.
Tinsley really jacked his game up in the second half too.
Just like he did at Missouri.
Yeah.
Iowa State can hold on to win. They'll stay in a first-place tie with Oklahoma State atop the Big 12 conference standings. 2 big road games coming up next week at Kansas and at Colorado.
Here's something interesting. Down here in the first 10 minutes, Nebraska has only 11 field goal attempts. Iowa State has made 11 field goals.
Stevie Johnson, the defensive rebound, a great outlet to Tinsley. Oh my goodness. Cochran took it away a little bit too much. And Tinsley turns it over. The first move was sensational. Cohorn.
Well, that was a 5-point lead. Larry Eustachy would be up and firing.
Florence got the roll.
Nice floater by Florence.
Florence leads Nebraska with 12 points, but it's probably going to be too little too late. So Iowa State has built what is probably an insurmountable leader in the second half. They saw a 15-point lead shrink away in the first half.
I was going to say, with the 3-point shots, the lead can diminish in a hurry.
Brandon Hawkins will check in at the next break. 12 on the shot clock. Shirley in on Bradford. Missed the layup. Johnson kept it alive. Florence has it from Nebraska.
A few times as of late that Paul Shirley hasn't finished off a shot.
Cohorn had it blocked by Tinsley. Bradford up with it, and he put it in. Another block for Jamaal.
I tell you, it looked like there was 2 fouls, one each way on that play, and nothing called.
Well, the lead is 23. Horton bumped, fouled by Florence. Kantrail Horton will go right back to the free throw line. It's 10 team fouls now on Nebraska, so 2 free throws the rest of the way on all fouls for Iowa State.
And that makes it extra difficult for Nebraska in that situation. You get to that automatic 2 shots from the foul line.
Horton has had a good night. 10 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Brandon Hawkins comes in for Tinsley. Hawkins really had a good first half, Cary. 8 points. He's a guy that had only scored 9 points in his 6 previous games, all told. And he had 8 in the first half tonight.
Talking to Jamaal Tinsley there. Larry Eustachy went over earlier. Assistant coach Leonard Perry talking to him and congratulated him.
12 now for Horton. Florence drives in. Scoop shot wouldn't go. And Shirley actually was the one that tipped it in. Now, how do we credit that basket?
Yeah, well, who was in the area and shot that?
I think it's the last guy to touch it for Nebraska.
Well, one thing Iowa State's got to continue to get back. Nebraska just blows it down there. That's scoring too quick. You got to make them run some time off the clock.
Horton, good look to Stevie Johnson. And he drew a foul. Well, Larry Eustachy has to be very happy, Gary, with the effort here in the second half.
Well, I'm sure he'll be extremely happy. There you see the ball coming in. Larry right there.
He had a good talk with his team at halftime, I'm sure. Stevie Johnson to the line.
John, here's Nurse and Tinsley the first half. 1 for 14 field goals. Second half, 5 for 6.
Better
Makes
looks.
a difference.
Yep. Stevie Johnson, all 6 of his points here in the second half. 7. Iowa State by 24.
Nebraska really brings that ball down the sideline break. Kick it down quick.
Truscott got the start tonight. Fires the jump shot and misses. Long rebound to Brandon Hawkins. It's Nurse to Johnson. Stevie on a hook. Couldn't fall. He had Horton wide open on the kickout. Decided to take the rare shot. Knocked away by Nurse. He's knocked to the floor. Foul on Cohorn. Nurse will shoot free throws.
You notice Cohorn down on the floor. I don't know if you can see it, but he says, yes, I realize I got it. Got it deflected away and then foul going after.
Frustrating night for Cary Cohorn. 0 of 4 from the floor.
Yeah, you know, coming back home in the state of Iowa, he wanted to do well. Actually, he's played his best basketball this year on the road, which is unusual. The rest of the Nebraska team have played their best at home.
Nurse now with 13 points. Iowa State has 3 in double figures, and there's a few others that aren't too far behind. Ffriend comes back in for Nebraska, as does Danny Walker and Matt Davis. And Richard Evans into the Iowa State lineup for Stevie Johnson.
Stevie getting a nice hand from the crowd. Really played hard. Got Iowa State off to a great start. He really hustled in the early going to the boards, kept some rebounds alive. I remember once he kept it alive. Fizer stuck it back in.
Nurse now with 14. His career high is 19. That was in that double overtime game against Oklahoma. Florence was bumped down low. Foul called on Brandon Hawkins.
And even though you got a comfortable lead, this is what you don't want to do right now. You're gonna defend them, but do not foul them. Make them shoot it in.
5th foul on the Iowa State team here in the second half, so Nebraska will inbound. Mentioned that Iowa State will hit the road for games at Kansas and Colorado. Kansas really looked good against Kansas State today, Gary.
Yeah, they brought it back, and on the road, Kansas State just looks almost like they're in the tank.
That's an honest assessment, I think. That ball knocked loose by Shirley, and here comes Hawkins. To Nurse, open 3, got it.
It's good to see him come back. You know, he was 0 for 5 at Missouri, 1 for 5, I think, in the first half, but now he's brought his shooting back. Iowa State will need that.
Well, there's another loose ball on the floor. Here comes Brandon Hawkins with it. Horton down low. Stevie Johnson, or rather Richard Evans with it.
I think Horton trying to give Richard a shot there.
Brandon Hawkins, jump stop. Boy, a rainbow by Hawkins goes.
I mean to tell you, he saw Ffriend coming at him, and he just arched that a little higher than normal.
10 points now for Brandon Hawkins, within a basket of his career high.
And he got that 12 against Colorado.
Really good for Larry Eustachy to see Hawkins contributing some offense. Shirley gets the foul. He has his hands full with Ffriend. Tell you what, once Kimani Ffriend becomes more comfortable playing basketball, what a player he is. He is so quick. For a guy 6'11". Timeout on the floor. Well, this was a Nebraska basket, but it looked like Paul Shirley put it in. So Iowa State's making just about everything tonight.
Get into the zone. The ESPN Zone, the ultimate sports dining and entertainment experience. Eat great food, watch any game that you want, and compete in our sports arena. ESPN Zone. What more do you need? In Baltimore, visit the Zone at 601 East Pratt Street. In Chicago, on the corner of Ohio and Wabash. And in New York's Times Square on the corner of 42nd and Broadway. And coming soon, ESPN Zones in Atlanta and Washington, D.C.
Do you want to know when the games begin? Tune to ESPN Now, available only on cable, for a complete guide to all sports on television. You get continuously updated schedule information so you know exactly what's on when. Plus, get live sports headlines from ESPN.com and the Go Network. If you want to know what the latest sports news is and where the games are, the place to be is ESPN Now. ESPN Now. It's where sports fans go first for sports. To get ESPN Now, call your cable company.
People say I talk a lot of trash. I don't talk a lot of trash.
This bomb go over 5 rounds. I won't return to the United States for 30 days.
Ali talk trash.
For all these big mouth people here in Miami talking about I talk too much and this one's gonna whoop me, so I want all of them to be there.
He invented trash.
Yeah, I wish him a happy new year because he's gonna need happiness after I annihilate him.
But he can back it up too.
I must be the greatest.
You gotta call 1-800-CLASSIC to get ESPN Classic.
Hard to believe this was a 4-point game at halftime because right now Iowa State leads it by 31 with 7 minutes to play. Here's another Budweiser quick stat and a big reason for that Iowa State lead. Look at that advantage at the free throw line.
And that's great foul shooting, 22 for 27.
Iowa State makes more free throws than its opponents attempt. That's been consistent through the Tim Floyd years and the Larry Eustachy years. Walker a 3. Wow, rainbow by Danny Walker. His third 3 of the game.
He'll put it up. There's no doubt about that. He's put up about 120 for those 3-point shots so far. Trying to post Shirley down low. Ffriend really fighting him, really aggressive for a guy with 4 fouls.
Nurse, 1 basket, 3 points away now from his career high. Nurse on a floater. Rebound battle won by Florence. Larry Florence on a kick out. Matt Davison for 3. There's a field goal for the football player.
I watched him play against Missouri last Saturday, John, the game you were doing down there, and he hit a couple of them. I thought he took one that probably shouldn't have taken late in the game, deep, but
playing with confidence.
That's right. say he brings a lot of aggressiveness, toughness, mental toughness, physical toughness to this team. Real competitor.
He's the leading receiver for the Nebraska football team. This is Brandon Hawkins. Good bounce to Horton. See the ball fake, how that creates an opening for Evans. Jump shot on the way by Richard. Long. Rebound, Brandon Hawkins. Iowa State will run some clock.
Iowa State spreading it out.
Larry Eustachy had a long visit with Danny Nee before this game. I'm sure that Larry is not in any hurry to try to rub his score in. I think he'll do the classy thing here. He's already taken Fizer and Tinsley out of the game.
Horton again, just a little careless with the ball, putting it out in front, not keeping it down low and protecting it.
Danny Nee really has not gotten enough credit for what he has done at Nebraska. You mentioned 9 straight years in the postseason. He's had a bunch of 20-win seasons.
He's got a young club here. If Belcher was with this club, it would make a lot of difference.
Oh my goodness, and Belcher, a medical redshirt in all likelihood this season. He'll come back and have a senior season next year. And everybody else is going to be back too, Gary, except for Larry Florence.
Yeah, you know, you got Ffriend and you got Bradford that are junior college people. Danny Walker, Rodney Fields, a junior college kid, but playing his first year. So trying to work all those guys in, that new players, takes some doing.
Truscott banged into Horton, and the foul called on Lewis Truscott. 2 guys going for a loose ball. The foul goes against Nebraska there.
That's when things are going bad for you. It usually goes that way. I almost think that was a no call. 2 guys just going right for it.
Let's take a look at this field goal percentage by half. That's a Budweiser quick stat for you. And Iowa State, after that poor first half, 59% here in the second half.
Well, and we comment about the difference of this club in the last 2 years is shooting. And you'd look at that 38, 39%, and that'd be good for a game, for the entire game before.
Iowa State also holding Nebraska to 43%, and this would be the 32nd consecutive game in which Iowa State would hold its opponent under 50%. So Larry Eustachy emphasizes defense, rebounding. It's obvious when you look at the statistics. But you know what? His teams also are scoring quite a bit this year. That's kind of the misconception that people have had to realize along the way. This team's capable of putting up some pretty big numbers on the scoreboard. Take good shots, they don't turn the ball over. Iowa State has just 10 turnovers in this one.
Well, scoring average, they're averaging almost 79 points a game, which is 29th best in the country.
Truscott misses. Evans the rebound for Iowa State. Horton pushes it up to Nurse. Wide open 3. Long iron. Rebound Florence. Nebraska the numbers. Florence to the hoop. Tough layup, and he got it. What an acrobatic play that was.
You know, the thing I've liked about this club, and I think it's always the mark of a good club, you can play at different tempos, different speeds. And Iowa State's able to play in a half-court game, but they also got the full-court game where they can push it on the break, broke it open, fast breaking off of turnovers or kicking out on the rebounds and getting it down quick.
And Hawkins dribble it back out. Shot clock at 11 as Horton goes to work. And now 8 to shoot it. Here's Michael Nurse. Nurse all the way in. Leaves it for Shirley. And Paul got it back. And a shot clock violation. Well, they're going to count the basket. But for a moment it might be a shot clock, but it was a goaltend. So can't credit Paul Shirley with the basket for Iowa State. Timeout on the floor. Everything going the Cyclones' way in the second half. They get the goaltend here. And the Cyclones lead this thing by 26 points.
He was part of the animal group.
To study the mind of a convicted killer.
Are you a murderer? Oh, yeah.
A psychiatrist.
If you don't talk to me, I can't help you.
Is prepared to risk everything. Academy Award winner Anthony Hopkins.
Never had control. You only thought you had it.
Academy Award winner Cuba Gooding Jr.
He's leading me into the jungle.
He's leading you? Instinct.
What are you up to? Therapy?
Now on pay-per-view, rated R.
ESPN presents college basketball's greatest games. We're going to go back in time to show you some classic comebacks. Amazing performances and last-second heroics.
To the floor, Laser catches, comes out, dribbles, shoots!
college basketball's greatest games.
Playing this month on ESPN Extra.
Introducing ESPN Extra, the brand new cable channel for sports fans who can't get enough. On ESPN Extra, you get more of the sports you love, like international soccer from around the world, including the UEFA Champions League. You'll see international auto racing, fitness, and outdoor programming. Plus, there's EXPN, which offers exciting extreme sports programming. It's all on pay-per-view around the clock all week long and only on cable. Watch ESPN Now or your program guide to see what's on. Then order exactly like you would for a pay-per-view movie. ESPN Extra, you can't do better than that.
Iowa State leads it by 26 with 3:42 to play. The standings here in the Big 12 Conference. This is updated through this afternoon's games. Iowa State with a victory here tonight would improve to 9-1 and 21-3 overall. And Gary, they're closing in on the school record for victories.
That's right. It's done a tremendous job, and you needed this win tonight with those Texas and Oklahoma State winning on the road, doing what Iowa State was able to do down in Missouri, coming away with a road win.
Cochran for three, left side, missed it. Rebound, Brandon Hawkins. And I'm sure that Iowa State will just run some clock now.
And I'm sure that was a set play just for Cochran, just to try to get him a shot down coming home to Iowa. He's a good shooter, he's just had a tough night.
Nurse has Cochran reaching around him there. Shot clock to 12, 3 minutes on the game clock, and Nurse taking as much time as he can.
Larry Eustachy just backing off, not interested in scoring any points, and running it in.
Well, our Murphy Family Farms top producer of the game is Kantrail Horton. You see the numbers across the board. That's why he's picked as our Murphy Family Farms top producer. Murphy Family Farms quality pork producers who protect the environment, proud to be growing with Iowa. Horton gives this team so much. Nurse now can match his career high if he can hit this free throw. He had 19 against Oklahoma in that double overtime game.
Played all 50 minutes, probably the only player in the history of Iowa State to play all 50 minutes in a game.
19 for Michael Nurse. And we'll see Clint Varley into the Iowa State lineup. One of the walk-ons.
Oh, Shirley really did a great job. He really did a job of blocking off the boards, keeping their big guys off the glass.
Varley is out of Menlo, Iowa. This is Bradford against Varley. Back in, turnaround jumper, no foul. And probably about the only thing that Larry told him on the way out to the court is don't foul. Don't foul.
Well, he got him with the body because he had his hands out of there. He just kind of moved it up with his body. Clint, a very physical kid.
Bradford to the free throw line. It's not been an overly productive night for Stephon Bradford. He's a guy that had 8 double-doubles coming into this game. He's been held to 9 points and 4 rebounds. Bradford made them both there. Iowa State will improve to 21-3. They will have won 18 of their last 19 games, one of the hottest teams in college basketball. And they will also stay in a tie for first place in the Big 12 standings. A game to keep away right here.
Iowa State definitely not trying to score. Now Nebraska, they run the clock down, and then they fouled last time. I looked over at Dan and he says, oh no, what are we doing?
Cochran knocked it away from behind, then got the return pass from Truscott. Cochran gets his first basket. Well, these are never comfortable situations for either team. You just want to get the thing over with, and both teams probably feel that way.
Nebraska trying to double team a little bit.
Iowa State has really done a good job, Gary, all season long of avoiding letdowns. Every time you look at the schedule and say, well, there's a game where it's a dangerous game, they might let down. Larry Eustachy hasn't let it happen.
No, and he said yesterday, practice we talked about, he said, I think we've had enough of this practice. I want to keep their legs. He said, I really feel this team is ready to come out and play.
Nurse trying to take it back outside. He threw it away. And now Brad Davis will check in. Another of the walk-ons, a freshman out of Knoxville. Well, the Pioneer Hybrid player of the game is Marcus Fizer, 23 points, 9 rebounds. He's our Pioneer Seacorn player of the game. Marcus at 9 out of 10 from the floor. Long three by Truscott wouldn't fall. Fields lost control, but got it back. Davison on a rainbow for three. And the rebound to Richard Evans.
Richard Evans not very big, but he's strong in the upper body and he's got good leaping ability. Be a good rebounder.
Hawkins dancing on the dribble. Brandon Hawkins tried to dunk it with the left hand and missed the dunk. Now he got a steal. Hawkins takes it right back in. The lob, Evans, and he missed the dunk.
Oh, they wanted one for Richard.
Two missed dunks in a row. Davison drives in. Circus
nice play.
At Davison for 5 points. It's a 22-point game.
John, there's one of the numbers you were talking about at the start of the game.
Yeah, the school's 1,000th career men's basketball victory. And Gary, you were a part of a few of those.
Yeah, it was a good time. We had a fun time playing, had 3 good years.
Horton just trying to dribble this thing out. There's an 8-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Iowa State will close in on its school record for victories. 24 is the record. Here's Davis for three. He missed it. And Fields controls. Cochran will fire a three. And Davis gets a rebound right before the buzzer. That'll do it. Iowa State a winner, 87-65. Danny Nee and Larry Eustachy shake hands. The Cyclones improved to 21-3 overall, 9-1 in the Big 12 Conference, and they're sure to rise again in the ratings on Monday. Cyclones a 22-point winner here at Hilton Coliseum.